Now our sauces have thawed completely just in the time that we were rolling out our couple of dough. So we will be ready to go with these immediately to our pizza doughs. So on this one that has the cornmeal, and we're going to go ahead and slide it directly onto the stone. We let these rest for a little while and it did start sticking again. So I went ahead and pulled it off, added a little more cornmeal and put it back on. Now because this pizza is going to try and slide off the peel directly on the stone, I'm going to try not stacking it as high as we might otherwise do. And the last thing I'm going to put on is just a little bit of pizza seasoning. You can use any premix that you'd like. This is one that we have mixed together ourselves and used a spice grinder to make into a more powder so that the flavor gets spread fairly evenly. And now we are ready to put this into the oven. Okay, now our oven has been roasting those pizza stones for a good 30 minutes. And I've got this ready. It's not moving on that side as much as I might like, but I'm hoping this is gonna work. Okay, and those are our pizza stones. So we're going to tilt this downward. You can see the lip of the paddle has an angle. We're gonna try and match that angle and scooch it, just wiggle it until it comes off in the back, and then gently pull our peel forward. Now I got a little bit far to the back, but since I made sure to make a smaller pizza than our stone, it's still fully on the stone, and I believe that will work just fine. Now we're going to close up the oven and set our timer for 20 minutes, and that should get us almost cooked, and then we can eyeball the crust and make sure that it's getting fully crispy like we would like it at that time. All right, we have only been cooking for about 5 minutes, but you can already see how we rolled that ring of dough. It is rising up, and that way it's going to capture all of that juicy goodness even before the cheese is completely melted, so it shouldn't run off into the rest of the oven.
Okay.
So I'm cutting off the edges of this. I don't know if it will matter at all because parchment paper, as opposed to wax paper, parchment paper should not burn. However, if it's touching some of the wire, then it may burn up at these higher oven temperatures. So I just trimmed around it, and that will also allow us to see the stone as we slide this on and off a little easier. Second pizza going into the oven. Again, we can check that it slides just fine. I actually did put a little bit of cornmeal under this parchment, so it's sliding even more easily. You could easily shove this right off if you tipped very much onto the floor, so definitely use caution. Again, I'm going to tilt it up a little bit and move it just to the back of the stone and pull the paddle forward once it touches the back of the stone. So we're going to open the oven. You can see that in color, this is probably not exactly where we want it to be. And you can take this and you can see that it's not sticking to the stone. And you can scoot it around because see it's getting more brown on this side. We're actually just going to scoot that around so that it can start browning on the other side a little bit more. and just keep an eye on that every minute or so until that pizza is ready. Okay. Hubby's first pizza is ready to come out now. So I am prepared with both the peel and a very thin metal spatula. That's because I've heard that some people, if they're pushing like that, it's pushing the pizza off. So I'm actually going to lift it just slightly and kind of scooch it, because we have another pizza in the oven over there that is going to be a problem if we actually try to slide this under very quickly. And there you can see that is, wow, one beautiful pizza. If it didn't have tomato sauce, I'd probably eat it right now. And we are going to check the crust underneath. And look at that beautiful crispy golden brown. And that is definitely because of the pizza stone. It gives that underside that really crispiness to it. And that is some good looking crust. Nice and crispy all the way through. Thin crust like hubby was hoping for. And I'm thinking that's going to be beautiful.
Nom.
And hubby says nom. This one, I'm going to lift the corner off and just slide it right on. And boy, that parchment paper definitely makes it slide. And you can see the parchment paper did not burn. And beautifully cooked on the top. Edges are browned. We can get under the edge here and see that again we have a beautiful crust, even though we cheated with this parchment paper to get it into the oven onto the stone. For my pizza, I have my creamy sauce, and since mine doesn't have lumps like tomato chunks in it, I'm actually going to just pinch it back from this corner of the bag, snip just the corner of the bag open, and use it almost like you would a pastry bag, which is to squish all of the sauce to that corner, and then I can just fill this around. And it is pretty recommended that everything that you put on your pizza is pre-cooked. And he just stole some of my bacon. Well, I guess he cooked it. But it's recommended that you have all of your items pre-cooked so that you don't have to worry about something not getting cooked enough in the process of the pizza cooking. We are actually going to be putting it on top of the stone. And notice we don't have to slide or worry about sliding anything. We're just going to see how it will cook and how that heat will penetrate directly through the screen onto the pizza crust. Now on my pizza I wanted a little bit lighter and softer crust than on hubby's pizza. So I went ahead and pulled it out just a little bit sooner. Now let's see what we have on the underside. It is a much lighter golden brown. I think part of that is due to me pulling it out a little early, but part of it is also because it was not in direct contact with the pizza stone. So if you like a slightly more chewy crust than a crispy, crunchy crust, this may be the way to go for you.